this is Brandon Moon with Moonlit Fly Fishing. I want to welcome you to Fly Tying Night tonight. Tonight we're going to be tying up a really fun pattern. This is Introduction to the Madam X Foam Striker. This is a Madam X variation pattern. This is what I would call a guide series Madam X. The Madam X was created by Doug Fisher in the 1980s in southwestern Montana as an attractor pattern to imitate and represent hoppers and stoneflies. We believe this pattern, also tied in different sizes, can be used and fished as caddis flies as well. This one we're going to be tying today is going to be on a size 14. With that, I'm going to make sure and invite you to like the video. If you find any kind of value in this video whatsoever, make sure you like it, leave us a comment, hit subscribe and the bell to receive future notification. This helps us out a great deal as we work to create good quality content and inspire other anglers and tyers in the community to continue tying and increase their knowledge and database. So with that, I'm going to start my thread roughly about 2/3 of the way up the hook point. The hook that I'm using is the Moonlit Premium Tagata ML 411 in a size 14 again. For the tail on this, I'm going to take a clump of cow elk hair. And I'm just going to take a small clump. I'm going to pull out the guard hairs, even though I'm not really going to use that that far. I just want to make sure all the guard hairs are out. I'm going to set that in a little hair stacker. This is a size 14, so I don't need a huge amount. So I've got my tips are even here. I'm going to pull that out. I want this tail to be, looks like I've got one turned backwards. I want this tail to be roughly about the length of the hook gape. So I'm going to measure this out. I'm going to take my scissors and I want to trim that right there at my point where I started my thread. I'll move this up to the front there where I started my thread at that 2/3 mark. I'm going to lay the tips of my thread. I'm going to do a couple loose wraps. I'm going to hold my thread and pull it up as I create open spiral wraps going rearward. You can see I haven't really compressed that down. By holding it up at an angle like I did, oh, that's too long, so we'll trim that out. So now I've got those trimmed up. I'm going to take my thread back up to the tie-in point at that 2/3 mark. I'm going to take the tips, I'm going to pull down, get a little bit of loose thread, create a couple wraps. I'm going to keep pinching those fibers on the tail. I'm not going to let go so that I keep that on the top as I go back to the back end. You can see now I can really cinch that down, and that's going to hold my hair on the top. And I'm just going to use this thread. You could use a floss or a silk thread that's thicker to take and cover this up. I'm using Semperfli's Classic Wax 8/0 in pale olive. kind of a cool color for a hopper or even a caddis, olive colored caddis. So serves a double purpose in color there. I'm just going to cover that hair up nice and clean. Now I'll go back up to that point there. Now for an underwing on this, I'm going to take some Moonlit zero gravity foam, the width of the hook gape, and I'm just going to create a little bit of a taper to the edge of this tail. I don't want it to be super pointed. You can see not pointed, just a little bit of a taper there. And I'm going to put this back to where the start of my tail is. And I'm just going to wrap that down. I'm going to hold it in place and do wraps all the way up into that hook eye there, making sure that I've got my foam secured on top. I'm going to pull this back so that I can give myself more access to my foam and my tying area, and I'm just going to make that all the way back to the tip of the tail, and that's because I'm going to build up some bulk that I've got to go over the top of here. I just want that to be nice and secure right there on top, because this is where I'm going to create my bullet head that you normally see from a Madam X. Now I'm going to take some more elk hair, a little bit thicker clump, about twice as much as what I use for the tail. Just like that. And this is going to allow this to flare out a little bit more. And I'm using elk just because it's a little bit more durable than deer hair. Stack that in my stacker again, just like before. Again, my tips come out even. I'm going to pull this out going back to the back of the fly again. Okay, I'm going to measure this so that it goes just past the foam piece there into the very back side of my tail, and then I'm going to clip it off just like before. Now I'm going to stack that right there on top. I'm not going to create really nice tight loops and wraps on this. Now I'm going to wrap it backwards and secure that down. Okay, and there I've got my nice wing. I'm going to take some dubbing, and I want the pale olive or light olive dubbing from Semperfli and Kapok. And this is just so that I cover up my thread. I've got some bulk on there, but I just want a little bit of cover over that thread for my head here. Now I'm going to pull that foam back over and create my bullet head like so. The nice thing is with this foam I can pull that up just a little bit. I'll trim out just a small little angle there. I can make a high-vis indicator on there if I want. If I'm doing the indicator, it's best to wait to trim that out until after you've laid your indicator in there. And this is just the zero gravity in the 1mm foam. And this is really just to add a little bit of help visually seeing this pattern. Okay, now for the size 14 I'm going to use Hairline's Micro Grizzly rubber legs. Okay, if I'm going to use like a size 10 and larger, you can use regular barred rubber legs or any rubber legs that you like. I want these back legs to go roughly to the back end of this fly, just roughly into the back side of the tail. Traditionally, your Madam X has your legs kind of, the back side goes down just a little bit in comparison. I'm going to take, to kind of try and secure and seat the legs and everything, I'm going to put a little bit of super glue on my thread and just wrap and tighten those down. Now we'll take and whip finish. One, two, three. Trim that out. Now we'll take the legs, and I want the legs to be shorter than the back. So I'll just trim those up. You can put some head cement on this. Secure your knot just a little bit. But there you go. You have the Madam X Foam Striker fly. Awesome little pattern, guide choice pattern. You can see the foam helps push that up and flare out your elk hair for the wing. Great little hopper imitation, caddis, different colors. You get the stone flies, bigger pattern sizes, regular stone flies. So again, if you find any value in this video, please do us a favor. Make sure you hit the like button, leave us a comment, hit subscribe and the bell to receive future notification. This helps us out a great deal as we work to put out good content and inspire other tyers and anglers in the community. Thank you for your time, and we appreciate it. We'll see you again next week.